U.S. military's highly secretive, game-changing super weapon to be unveiled. Experts call it warning to adversaries. The U.S. has entered a new great power contest with Russia and China that is seeing an even more extensive arms race. This involves cyber warfare besides the conventional and nuclear weapons realm. From the late 2000s, it reached another dimension: space, an overarching sphere that now encompasses even cyber, nuclear, and conventional domains. Its dynamics and nuances are far trickier and destabilizing. Conventional war uses space-based assets to monitor adversaries, guide missiles, jets, and communications. Even something as simple as a global positioning system (GPS), for both military and civilian purposes, is beamed from satellites. Nuclear war, on the other hand, uses the same satellites to enemy monitor missiles, track their launches, alert countries of an attack, and guide missiles. Emerging threats to satellites. Cyber warfare also has a direct bearing on space, since nearly all internet and communication passes through satellites. Thus, if a country attacks the cyber networks of its adversary, it would affect its satellites because networks are linked to space assets. Conversely, if the country attacks the adversary's satellites, it would affect its computer systems as well. Additionally, simple weapons like missiles that are used to knock down jets and other incoming nuclear missiles can themselves, along with their radars, be repurposed to knock out enemy satellites. India's March 27, 2019 anti-satellite ASAT test used a ballistic missile defense (BMD) interceptor to take out its own satellite, a prime example of the overlap between BMD systems and space war. That India's ASAT effort itself was a remote result of the U.S. abrogation of the 1975 anti-ballistic missile (ABM) in December 2001 is a different story. It triggered an arms race because of the acceleration it triggered in Russian, Chinese, and eventually Indian missile programs. The U.S. latest move. Given how deeply enmeshed space is in all other forms of weapons and civilian life, the U.S. military's push to declassify a hitherto super-secret weapon to wreak havoc on enemy satellites and deter Russia and China warrants debate. Speculation ranges from it being a land-based mobile laser to blind enemy satellites, radio frequency jammers on satellites themselves to target enemy space assets, or high-powered microwave systems to throw other satellites' electronics into disarray. Experts, however, rate the possibility of it being a direct ascent system, where a missile launched from Earth hits a satellite in space, very low. Image for representational purposes only. Via Twitter. This also proved that a highly advanced surface-to-air BMD system had limited ASAT capabilities, with Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's July 7 unclassified formal memo pledging to avoid space debris. A direct ascent kinetic kill weapon like this remains highly unlikely. Is it a laser weapon? One possibility might be a ground-based, mobile laser weapon designed to blind or disable enemy satellites in low Earth orbit (LEO). Altitude below 2,000 kilometers from sea level falls in this category. In 2002, the Bush administration announced the Counter-Surveillance Reconnaissance System, CSRS or SISRS, which was abruptly canceled in 2004. While the Pentagon never officially disclosed what the device was, experts believed it was a laser one to blind satellite optical systems. Another guess is an onboard RF jammer, either carried by U.S. satellites themselves or maneuverable, bodyguard satellites that move to protect vulnerable space assets. The Air Force Research Laboratory, AFRL, in 2003 and 2005 launched maneuvering satellites XSS-10 and XXS-11 respectively. In 2014, the USAF tested a similar satellite called the Automated Navigation and Guidance Experiment for Local Space, ANGELS, for Space Situational Awareness, SSA. In 2019, AFRL also tested the Eagle system, in which one of 3 small satellites conducted an SSA, surveying the nearby space environment. The U.S. also employs the Geosynchronous Space Situational Awareness Program, GSSAP, an SSA constellation stationed in geosynchronous Earth orbit, GEO. Most of the world's communications satellites, including U.S. militaries, are in GEO.
Bullshit.
The Pentagon says it keeps
They're
a
on the
watch on
hard
space
lines.
debris and other enemy
No
satellites.
mistake.
Experts are nearly sure of GSSAP to also be carrying some kind of onboard RF jammer or low-powered laser. While lasers can burn through a satellite's solar panels, There are technical impediments to its effectiveness. Even a scaled-down offensive laser system uses a lot of power, which on any satellite is limited. Lastly, DoD has long been interested in high-power microwave weapons, which was reflected in a 1996 study called An Operational Analysis for Air Force 2025, an application of value-focused thinking to future air and space capabilities. This envisaged microsatellites carrying a miniature microwave weapon for blasting satellites or ballistic missiles mid-flight.